My name's Sarah Levitt and I'm Head of Arts and Museums for Leicester City Council. I became Head of Museums in 1997 when the whole of the City Museum Service came over from the County Council, and we knew that we got an anniversary coming up in 1999. It was the 150th anniversary of the founding of museums in Leicester. It was one of the earliest museum services in the country. So we were discussing who we should have as patrons, and our then leader, Peter Soulsby, suggested that Richard and David Attenborough would be ideal for our patrons for our anniversary year, and we were delighted that they accepted. The reason why Peter was so keen on this, and he got current contacts with them, was because Richard was involved in City Challenge, which was an initiative that was really doing a lot to transform parts of Leicester at that time. And so it was during that anniversary year where we had loads and loads of fun. It was really great, by the way. During that anniversary year, we got this astonishing phone call from Peter saying that they'd all met for lunch after a City Challenge meeting, and that Richard had put forward this idea that New Walk Museum and Art Gallery might be a suitable place to have some of his amazing Picasso ceramics collection. And what did we think about it? So we thought, like, wow. And obviously there was no question, we were thoroughly delighted. Now, that conversation in 1999 resulted quite a number of years later in our permanent gallery opening. We began with a temporary exhibition in about 2007, and then subsequently we opened our Picasso permanent gallery, which is where we are today. I think one of the things that sums up Richard is essentially his wishing to have this gift of the Picasso ceramics collection for the people of Leicester to enjoy. He knew that it would be a tremendous thing for us because it enabled us to up our game. It enabled us to really become national players, to have something that was really, really special that was Leicester's. And it was so generous, and it was thinking about what good can we do in the world. Not only that, but I think the way in which, as we were developing this, he wanted to include everybody in this. So he was really keen. There's a company called Cook Optics in Leicester that he was very keen to tell us had produced the lenses for lots of the films he produced in Hollywood. And so he wanted the people from Cook Optics to be involved in all the things that we did. And he was so kind to some young people from a local school that were working with us as volunteers. And he was just really interested in everything we did. He wanted to know everything. The people who came to talk to him, he talked to them as if they were old friends and valued acquaintances. It was just brilliant seeing the way he was. I think one of the things that will not be so well remembered perhaps is the incredible kindness and warmth of Richard's personality and the way he literally embraced everybody. He embraced them intellectually. He would give them a big hug. He would make people feel special, and it was the warmth of that personality of the man that shines out in all that he's done. One of the other really special things about Richard that was great is when he would often come to do events here at New Walk Museum, and downstairs we've got a lovely Victorian art gallery where we can have 200, 300 people. So when we had the events, like when we opened the permanent gallery here and when we opened the temporary gallery, Richard would come, and there would be a huge electric buzz in the room with so many people all wanting to be with him, to be part of the occasion. And then he'd arrive in the room, and he was such a consummate professional in the way that he would make sure that in that room of 200 people, he would be there for those people. He'd get round. It felt like every single person in that room had had their moment of specialness with him, that he talked to them, he was interested, that in that phrase how somebody could work a room, he would enable each person to feel special and then have the time to move on to another person and another and another and another. So it really did feel like 200 people had his entire attention for that evening. It was just great. I think that there is an incredible personal legacy in the city, the people of Leicester really see Richard as a son of the city. And you could see this during all the time that he was coming up and being involved in our activities between 1999 and 2007, when he'd be in the street and he'd come out of New Walk Museum and somebody would rush across New Walk and they'd vigorously shake his hand and say, "I want to thank you very much for all you've done for Leicester and the marvellous pleasure you've given me over your life." And he really captured the imagination of people. He's somebody who the city feels as one of theirs, who they feel very, very proud of.